Kings, queens, and everybody in between in the comment section, it's no secret. MultiVersus is in a really rough spot. If you look at the internet right now, you got plenty of content creators saying it's dead, it's dying. I know what killed it. It was shields. No, it was ground teching. No, it was the inconsistent balance. No, it was the fact that my character isn't top tier. And whatever the reason, no matter how invalid you may think it may be, the player base is getting thinner and thinner. I'm not saying that it's bare bones and it's down to its last couple hundred. That is not what I'm saying. But there are a lot of people who are closing their doors and going, nah, I'm gonna play something else. Anything else. And if they're not enjoying the game, once again, regardless if you agree with their reasoning or not, I understand why they're not playing it. You don't do things that you don't enjoy. Now, some people think I'm gonna sit over here and cry about balance, shields, the teching system, etc., etc. But no, I'm actually not gonna talk about balance at all. I'm gonna talk about ways that MultiVersus can improve as a game. Because as it stands right now, there might be a few oversights and blind spots that maybe people aren't talking about that could sink the hooks into new players and reel them in to wanting to play this game. Now, as I said, I'm not going to touch on balance at all, but from the new player perspective, most games out there have this common courtesy to greet someone new with a tutorial. A good tutorial not only tells the controls, but helps with understanding the practical application of the tools, controls, and system mechanics at the player's disposal. Now, my main issue here is outside of YouTube videos from other players of the game, there are not any in-game tutorials of the tech system, shields, parrying, combo influence, directional influence, knockback influence, or that characters have more knockback as they take damage. And as you'll see on screen, I'll have the tutorial probably going like 2x speed, but when you play through it, it teaches you how to move left, how to move right, how to jump, double jump, but it doesn't teach you the applications of certain things such as recovery. And it's a shame because there's a 90-second video that's in Smash Ultimate, and it teaches you how attacks work, how follow-ups work, how tilts work. And that's all fine and dandy, but at some point, the nitty-gritty starts to show up. Once your opponent has taken enough damage, you can hit them with harder attacks, and they'll go flying. The more damage they take, the farther they'll fly. And I just don't think that a game should assume that, oh, you've played Smash, so you just know how all this stuff works. Smash experience should not be relied on as a prerequisite for your player base for your own game. Like even in the Smash video, while it's just for Mario, they showcase how these attacks can have different applications, pushing Bowser off a ledge, doing damage. There's a part where they even showcase Mario doing recovery options of like a double jump into his up special, not to give up, use all of your moves, teaching you how to get back to stage. They showcase that shielding is strong and it allows you to block attacks, but you can be thrown out of them. And yes, it doesn't go into spot dodging, air dodging, and various other mechanics in the game. But somehow the 90-second video showcases a lot more on how a player should approach the game than whatever MultiVersus calls this tutorial. And I'm not saying that Smashes is perfect by any means. However, just go out there, mash buttons, and expect the player to just go out and be somebody, that's just not a good recipe for success. And I understand, you don't want to overwhelm the new players with a whole bunch of information. However, in Smash Brothers, I can go to each character, I can click on a move, I can get more details about the move, see some of the applications of the move, to the point that where people have made a wiki that compiles all the tips. And sure, some of them are just the character debuted in this year, this was their first game, and a little bit of lore about the character, which I do think helps people playing the game make a better connection with some of these characters from IPs they may not have experienced. But more importantly, these explanations are accompanied with visual aids so you can see what these moves look like without having to read it in the practice menu, then do the move, then be like, oh, okay, that's what that is, then pause the game again in training to then go look at the move again. You see what I'm saying? And to go even further, Guilty Gear, Mortal Kombat, Tekken have multi-hour full comprehensive tutorials that teach you the deeper ins and outs of the game while also having a serviceable basic one. So if you just want to hop right into the game but you kind of want to know what you're doing, you can have it. Some going into meticulous detail down to specific character-specific details, which is a great thing to have because not every character plays the same. And as you can see in the provided videos, sometimes just learning the character and seeing what type of cool things they can do in a practical way that's straightforward without requiring you to pre-program a bot to your own liking to tailor-make the situation would be a huge W.
Okay, he wants me to do 2-4 in the air and then 1-2-2? All right. Ugh. Freaky. I have to let it hang. Damn, that's really generous. That's really generous. Yoink! That one's fun. I like that route.
And you can tie incentives to completing these things like Battle Pass XP, Fighter Road XP. If you complete every single combo trial and tutorial for that character, you get a nice little skin or a background picture. And the art team of MultiVersus, y'all are doing a phenomenal job. Like, y'all are cooking. Like, magnificent. I don't know if you can hear it. That's not me fapping. That is me definitely giving y'all a round of applause that y'all genuinely deserve. And give people incentives to want to learn how to play these other characters, or perhaps just knock out whatever your main character's trials are so you can showcase that, hey, I've got mastery. I got that knowledge.
I went to college!
It'll help players learn, be more efficient, and let's be honest, it's more content. It's something that's interactive. It's something that can get people engaged. New players get to learn. Seasoned veterans might be able to cook up some new routes and, you know, just get to learn the ebb and flow of a character just a little bit more intimately. Because a lot of us who have played fighting games or platform fighters for decades, we might know what to look for. But if you sit down like little Timmy, little Susan, or someone who's just like, I like these characters, and they hop off of work just to hop in the lab, they might need a sense of direction, a North Star, something that can point them in the right direction towards learning things that are actually applicable in-game. Because I said it about Destiny 1, I've said it about Overwatch, when it comes to strategy, lore, ability to play the game, or even just continuity, I won't care if you don't put it in the game. If I gotta go reach third-party sources, a lot of people are not gonna do that legwork. They want it in the game. And as you can see on screen, like, the game has the ability to have like cutscenes. Like, we see that they've had the ability to make pre-rendered videos. And I don't understand how we don't have some sort of story mode that's akin to Subspace Emissary from Smash Bros. Brawl, or at the very least, something that can articulate a narrative that makes us go, oh my god, Iron Giant's about to be destroyed in space? No! And like, we can root for these characters and maybe see how some of them can play off of each other, what type of wacky scenarios might take place, who might betray who, and get invested in a narrative that will keep us hooked into the game. Like, we saw with Overwatch how those narratives and how that story hooked people into the game and made people want to play the game for 6 years, and they never even put that in the game. And imagine every couple of seasons you can build anticipation, dropping Easter eggs for the next characters in the story mode, and say, now with the powers of Mars and Earth aligned, they can now take down their gargantuan foe. But will their power be enough to destroy the evil Super Stripe? Or will they need more help? And then, like, in the Easter egg of the trailer, you can put, like, in the reflection of Iron Giant's eyes, Dexter's Go, Super Family Go, Mech, and it's a teaser for Dexter for the next season. And it's not like they haven't already come up with some sort of narrative before, because they literally have comics for MultiVersus. Now, obviously, both of these suggestions are not things that you're going to be able to build overnight, but it's something that you can build to the overall infrastructure of the game over time to really be able to lock in new players and cultivate anticipation for future content, because now people are like, oh my god, I really want to know. Because gripping narratives will get people to play games. Like, Arcane got a lot of people to try League of Legends, and then they hated League of Legends, but man, Arcane still had them gripped. And I know that story suggestion might be like a far-fetched thing, because I understand that that requires voice work, that requires getting the right people in the right places, and I'm sure that's a huge thing for the animation team. But I'm just saying, it's something that I think should be looked into, mainly because it provides almost infinite hours of content to divvy up the gameplay loop and giving players something to do that's fulfilling without you necessarily having to give them a whole bunch of Gleamium and EXP points. It's something that they could do just because they love the game and they love these characters and want to see them interact. Because that is the entire cornerstone. That is the driving force behind what makes a good crossover a crossover. And I suppose that brings us to the next elephant in the room. We have Fighters Road. Now, a lot of you may know that they did improve it. Now, if you decide that you want to unlock a new character, you now have the choice of which character you wish to unlock, but not to a full extent. You see, for level 1, it can either be Jake or it can be Bugs Bunny. And then once you're done with that, you can now choose between Garnet, Batman, and Tom. And then when you are done with that, you now get to unlock the one that you didn't choose in the first tier, and so on and so forth forever, and slowly building up to new interesting members of the cast. However, let's say you've got your eyes on Jason or LeBron. I mean, you got to get pretty far. You got to unlock like 8 or 9 characters. And I'm telling you right now, when you look at the Battle Pass as a free-to-play player, you don't get that much fighter XP. You get 1,000 per battle pass. And listen, player first games, I understand you guys want to incentivize people making purchases with your microtransactions. I get it. Money's got to be made and paid somewhere. But this is kind of ridiculous. Like, I'm going to play a match and we're going to showcase how much XP we get per game. Oh, I'm sorry, Finn. It's me, not you. I just want to see what my Fighter Road XP do. You need to stop fighting back, cause I might sue. Because grinding XP makes me look like a fool. And I'm gonna do it cause I'm cool. Way too cool to go to school during Christmas time. That's what I do. Now you gonna get out of here because you're the fool. Oh! And just like that, we gained 150 Fighter Road XP. Now, you may be saying, wow, that's gonna take a while for you to get to that 6250. And you're right. However, with the 1,000 from the Battle Pass and the roughly 5,000 you get from the current active missions, I will say that you will get Bugs or Jake relatively soon, within a couple of days. However, as you see, it starts going up to 15,000. You will be running out of those missions because they're not infinite, and you will be grinding your face into the ground with a cheese grater before you unlock Jason. In this aforementioned Jason example. And if you're somebody who truly cares about a character like Agent Smith, yeah, you're basically going to be spending the next quarter of a year grinding the game in order for you to get some of these newer characters like the Powerpuff Girls, Nubia, and don't even get me started on Raven. I personally feel that you should just be able to choose what characters you want to unlock in any order you wish to unlock them, and maybe make it 2 seasons for new characters to appear on Fighters Road. So in season 4, 5, Raven and Marceline would be unavailable on Fighters Road. But in season 6, they would be added to it. I think you could do it like that, and that will incentivize people to want to buy it, and it would incentivize people to not just be free-to-play players, but still give free-to-play players a way to access every character in the game at some point in time. However, if they did decide to make that fully expansive story mode with all the fixings, the bells and the whistles, you might be able to get away with making all the characters free for everyone. Because now, every player at every price point is incentivized to turn on the game and enjoy it at their leisure. And they don't feel like there's a gun pointed at their head saying you have to grind in order to get characters, because the only rewards in the game are characters, skins, and ranked rewards, which not everybody really wants to play ranked. But it is not all doom and gloom, folks, because as I said, Arenas is a Mondo W. Like, player first games, you're probably watching this video and you're like, oh great, this guy's just giving us the beatings. He's just giving us the beats by Dre. He doesn't care about us at all. No, I do. And I will scream from the heavens repeatedly, Arenas was great. It is great. Now, obviously, there's some community issues there where people leave early, people will drop out of the game. But what the mode is great. Now, I don't know who's got the community to do it, but if we can have some sort of like tournaments for Arenas, I think that'd be hilarious. I think that would be some very funny content indeed. And look, I don't want to see this game fail. I don't want to see this game go to the Shadow Realm, go to the Gulag and the lower floors of the penitentiary. I want this game to succeed. I want this game to thrive. And there are some changes, especially with the balance. They are definitely trying new things, and I have to give Player First Games credit for that. However, as I've said before, and I'll say it again, we are losing players faster than we are taking the steps to bring things that will keep people anchored to the game. Because all the balance stuff that you guys are doing, while great, that's really only going to be appealing to the hardcore. The average Jimmy, Joe, and Susan, they're not playing the game at an adept enough level to where these balance changes are probably going to alleviate all of their pain points. And they're just running out of things to do, and they're bored. And trust me, as a casual gamer myself, when a casual gets bored of your product, that's it. It's over. They will find anything else to do, and it won't be playing MultiVersus. Anyways, if you guys have any other suggestions that you want to see brought to the game, leave them in the comment section below. Y'all already know I like picking y'all's brains, and I will see you guys on the next one.